Nice day. It's pretty cool in August. The sun is hot, the wind is cool and pleasant. It's cold in the morning, cool at night, and beautiful. Harvests are coming along soon. That'll be fun. From the cage to the bubble. Okay, the bubble. As I was saying, people in the bubble, they have a bit more power economically. They're in a different class, middle class, upper middle class. So they're more vested in society. They're playing the game at a different level. Maybe some of them have more skin in the game. And just like anyone, they carve out a comfortable niche for themselves, or they fall into a comfortable niche and can find all the stimulation and satisfaction that their status provides. And for many of them, I think they're quite comfortable. Comfort is a thing that may discourage us from doing something important when we really need to, but that every human being, regardless of their class, needs. You want to feel comfortable. You want to feel happy, well stimulated. Human beings crave that. And in the bubbles, various bubbles, whatever the ideology is of that bubble, whatever the religion is of that bubble, whatever the state is of that bubble, whatever the community is of that bubble, everybody's trying to fit in, trying to feel comfortable. We seek those normal, natural stimulations that everybody seeks to make us feel happy. And so eventually we narrow in to our perspective, our worldview, and we don't want it challenged. We don't want to question it too much. It's too painful, it's too hard, it's too tiring, it's annoying. We believe what we believe, we're comfortable in our bubble, so we're just going to leave it that way and not rock the boat. If you want to persuade somebody in another bubble that your way of thinking or your ideology or your belief system or philosophy of life or your politics or whatever is better, and you want to persuade them to change, you have to understand that they're bubble people just like you, and they want to be comfortable and not threatened. Otherwise they get defensive, and they want to feel that you're not messing with their power, with their situation in their bubble. So you have to be diplomatic and friendly, and you have to put people at ease, and you have to allow them to think that any idea that you want to share with them is their idea. Let the idea come from their space, and then when they're relaxed and comfortable and warm and fuzzy and all the defense mechanisms are down, you can lead them to illustrate that aspects of your perspective aren't that bad. And then maybe you'll bridge a bubble, but it's still a bubble. Why we hate people in other bubbles, that's a question that can be answered, but it takes a while to tell that story. But let's just say once we found our comfort zone, we don't want anybody to mess with that comfort zone. And sometimes if somebody has a different worldview or a different way of seeing or doing things, it's a threat to us. So we react accordingly. Fight or flight shuts down our frontal cortex. We can't think. So we become reactionary in a negative way. Then we can't communicate. Then we hate the other people in the other bubble, even though they're just like us. These days you see people who are just sticking to a script or talking points. They don't make any effort whatsoever. They don't make any effort whatsoever to appear to be thinking about anything. They're purely defending a position that they have to defend to maintain their position, their career, their paycheck. And these people, I don't know, they may convince themselves that they believe what they're doing, but I don't think so. I think they're just, I know this is bullshit. I can't talk about this, but I can give you these talking points. Other people, it's just all they know. They only know what granddad and grandmom taught them. They inherited their belief systems and their worldview, and that's it. That's all they know. So, anyway, you have all these different bubbles and so on, and they're so similar. And when you ramp up to the castle class, it's the same. You think Davos people, you know, again, the level of the game is higher. You need to be more skilled. It's more NFL. It's more pro baseball. It's more UFC. You know, to get in, you have to be elite. You have to be good at what you do. And of course, you're more competitive. You're more cutthroat. But you do it in a nice way because right talk dictates that you must behave properly in any of these groups or bubbles. So you appear polite and nice and kind, but you're really a cutthroat competitor. You're defending a position in a much more sophisticated way. You have better language at your disposal. You have better lines of evidence. You have more resources. You have public relations people, advertising people, propaganda people, copywriters. You can write books. You can persuade on a big scale. You can convince Google to write algorithms that force you to look at certain things and keep you in your bubble so you don't ask questions, so you're comfortable. And then there's the shit show and the bread and circuses, and that's a whole other thing that shuts us down and gives us a bubble or a place to play. If you're a castle person, you own the football team. If you're a bubble person, you might have season tickets. But it's the same kind of thing. So in all of these areas, there are reasons not to think. Reasons, good reasons, very rational reasons to ignore certain things and to adhere to other things. You don't want to lose your position. If you have a castle, you want to keep your castle, and maybe you want a yacht, and maybe you want a country. You want more control. If you're a bubble person, you want more control too, but it's more modest. You don't have all the resources, but you're comfortable with what you have. And once you get comfortable, you stop thinking. And you have no motivation, no incentive to start criticizing things, analyzing things, tearing things apart. So you get my drift. So when we get deep into all these different areas, cages, bubbles, and castles, we're just human people in different circumstances with similar, obviously with different tools, but similar motivations, similar biases. We're people, we're humans. So maybe some people are less competitive and so on, and maybe they can't compete because they don't have the skills. But, and maybe you can work your way from a castle to a bubble to, I mean, from a cage to a bubble to a castle. That's great. Each rung on the ladder, you have to behave, you have to conform. You have to understand what right talk is, the manners, the mannerisms, to fit into that group, that clique. So, in each area, if you're lucky, if you do things right and you're lucky, a little bit of luck never hurt, you get comfortable. Once you get comfortable, you're not going to really mess with anything. Or if you do, you're going to be motivated to mess with something, to protest, to fight back, to whistle blow, because you're an unusual person, you have some principles, or just because you've been buffeted about by the information machine that's just literally pushing your buttons. The kid goes out with an AR-15 and shoots people. He thinks Donald Trump wants him to do that, maybe. I don't know. Thinks he's doing the right thing. Citizen militia. A gunfight. Innocent people get killed. It's madness, but he probably thinks he's doing the right thing. Does he really have any control? I mean, you know, obviously he's a human being, he made bad choices, he's going to jail. But, you know, what influenced him to do all that? What were the stages? What in his bubble got him to go that far to pull a trigger? So when you go out to the David Icke rally without your masks, saying COVID-19 is a conspiracy, it's a hoax, the Davos crowd just want to take away your freedom. Hopefully we can get some good data on that, on how the virus is, the contagion patterns of large mobs of people. Maybe they have their apps going and they're being tracked, and we can get some good data from it. You know, X number of people got the virus, X number of people died because of it, X number of people got the disease, X number of people were asymptomatic, blah, 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 blah. And if we use big data to crunch those numbers, we'll learn something. But meanwhile, Icke is like, from his bubble world, from his universe, he's just fine to be comfortable saying that virologists and epidemiologists and doctors and scientists around the world, whether they're in Cuba, Russia, China, the United States of New Miracles, Canada, the UK, France, wherever, are just ridiculously stupid. And the Davos crowd really pulled one over on him with this virus thing because it's just a cold. Well, you know, maybe we have overreacted. Maybe no opportunity ever goes to waste when you're a player, when you have more agency and more power in a castle and you're dependent on your paycheck in the bubble. So yeah, maybe you do create panic so you can print more money or whatever. It doesn't have to be a conspiracy. It all just emerges from being human. From being a human being that's influenced and programmed by the same things that everybody is. And the information warfare, propaganda and all that stuff just contributes to it on a huge scale. And maybe you don't want any agency, it's too much trouble. Maybe it's better just to be comfortable. I think most people just want that. They want to giggle at the jokes, watch the funny videos, be comfortable. And if there's a nuclear war, or if there's another world war, or if inequality really screws things up, or if COVID-19 is just the tip of the iceberg and the Davos crowd is going to unleash more and more deadly engineered contagions on the world to reduce the population and allow them to play the Game of Thrones together with their kind of people. The Earth becomes a country club, a gated community in the universe. Aliens are not allowed. There's the alien water fountain and the alien toilet. Anyway, we're all in that same boat, and in order to think strategic, we have to first criticize our own thoughts and question our own thoughts. Say, where did I get that idea? Why do I think this way? Well, I've read all these books, and I've looked at those books, and I've looked up this and that on Wikipedia, and I think I have a pretty good idea of where Afghanistan is, but I'm not an expert and so on. But I still have the humility to say, I don't know that much about it, but I can figure out how to learn more about it. So you have a little more power, a little more agency, your bubble gets a little bit nicer, you reflect those values within your bubble to your other people in the bubble. You all feel pretty comfortable. Once you feel that comfortable feeling, that's when you got to get busy, because that's when you're vulnerable, that's when you're not growing, that's when you're not taking risks, that's when you're going to get hit by a freight train and not even notice it's coming. All right, that's it. I'll let you have a look at my view. Take good care. Talk to you later. Adios.